He always gets it when I'm in there plugging in my wires and getting on air. Does that on purpose in there. I'm just joking. Paul Hartman's a great guy, nicknamed Hooge. Is that because you're a fan of the Hoosiers? Used to live in Indiana, that's right. Well, hell, just living in Indiana will put you on an Al-Qaeda list now. Anything in it, we're all Al-Qaeda. We're all criminals. We're all bad. We're all in deep trouble. We all have to have Homeland Security run our lives. Going back to Mark in Maryland, he says he calls the VFW head a Jerry Newberry. In fact, guys, look his name up online right now because I want to call him myself. I mean, I believe you call her, but I want to check this out for myself, obviously. Talking about Dan West, and you said what he said next concerning, for those that just joined us, the VFW being told by the feds and the BATF, turn your guns in and we're going to come SWAT team, basically, register your guns, and so we can take a full inventory of it. Break down what happened next.
Okay, what he said next I found alarming because it was so incriminating, and he said the whole thing boils down to, get this, they are trying to track down weapons that have been lost and turned up at gun shows. And that's their official story from Mr. Newberry at Public Relations VFW headquarters. And I'll tell you something, Alex, these crazy nuts calling veterans terrorists, they're about to draw back a stump.
You don't think the vets will say, I guess I am Al-Qaeda. I guess I didn't know I hit us on 9/11. I guess the red, white, and blue is Al-Qaeda. Here's my guns. I didn't know I did the attack, but our government couldn't be wrong. Hell, abort the kids. CPS them all. Put fluoride in our water. I'm a terrorist. I mean, do the vets you talk to know that Homeland Security is listing them as the number one threat and training the police and paramilitary youth squads to take them on? Here is the New York Times saying it.
Well, I know a few vets that know about it, but I'll tell you the truth, most are just totally unconscious.
Drinking heavily.
Just don't know anything about what's going on. And I doubt that this Mr. Newberry knew anything about what was going on. I asked him another thing about the M1. Our local post has been told not to use the M1 that's been modified for blanks. They've been told never to use it anymore, and or else it would be confiscated. And I asked him about that, and he refused to comment on it. And, that's the honor guard. Without the M1, there's no honor guard. Well,
you can't have veterans with guns on TV. I mean, have you seen all the news reports about where vets will try to carry their VFW rifles in the 4th of July parade and the cops hit them and hit them hard?
Oh, that's crazy. Jesus. We live in
it's not if you're a slave master. I mean, America is going to be a Nelly nanny state, but that's only the front. Right behind it's a black mask and an iron fist. And they are going to, I mean, look, the bankers have openly already bankrupted the nation and stolen more money than we can ever pay back. So they know that they're in trouble. You just heard Ron Paul. I mean, we're this close to getting these criminals in jail. Imagine if we just exposed them, had them arrested. We could start back getting our country back. I mean, we have criminals running the nation. Of course they're coming after the guns. But see, this isn't alone. You add this into Homeland Security saying veterans are the number one threat, training local police that vets are going to attack. Here's the New York Times. 10 minutes into the errant mayhem in the town near the Mexican border, and the gunman, a disgruntled Iraq war veteran, has already taken out 2 people. One slumped in a desk, the other covered in blood on the floor. The responding officers, 8 teenage boys and girls, the youngest 14, face tripwire, a thin cloud of poisonous gas and loud shouts. Bam, bam! Fired from behind a flimsy wall. They move quickly. Pellet guns drawn and mask affixed. United States Border Patrol. Hands up, screams out one voice. Now, again, they know Border Patrol's popular, so all these Homeland Security shows and all these shows brainwashing the kids, they call them Border Patrol, but then they practice taking on vets and confiscating guns. And this goes on all over the nation, not just with the Boy Scouts. There it is, right there. This is what they're gearing up for. They admit it. And I don't think listeners understand, I'm not just saying that. People email me and say, oh, you're exaggerating. No, you heard the retired cop call in from Missouri. He said, no, they've already tried to recruit us in the VFW and the Marine Corps Veterans Group to spy on neighbors and tattle. I've covered and been sent by listeners the videos of the FBI in every town and city has these meetings where they say, we want your community to come volunteer to help look for terrorists. And then when you show up to it, they teach you, all right, we're fighting Al-Qaeda and gun owners and pot dealers, and we're going to spy on people abusing their kids. Did you see your neighbor over the fence spat their kid? Call police. Call CPS. See? So it sounds good. Come here and fight Al-Qaeda that hit us. You get there and they go, okay, Al-Qaeda. We're going to spend 5 minutes on Al-Qaeda and the next 3 days on veterans. I know some of your veterans, but you're the good veterans. There's some bad ones.
Well, what it comes down to is they've turned the entire Patriot Act, something that was adopted, to do a good thing. They've turned the entire thing around on the United States people, and it's a gun aimed at us, and we're about to get it. And if,
well, they said it was to fight. Go ahead.
I wish we could somehow, I don't know how you could do it, but sponsor some sort of a million-man march on D.C. Let them know we
Now,
need
here's
business.
the problem. I couldn't sponsor a 50,000 person march. Would probably cost $20,000 to fund. I don't, that's why we're having the money bomb tomorrow, because everybody keeps saying, and it's true, I need to do more, and we need the funds to do it. So buy the books, buy the videos, donate, whatever. Just support us. God bless you, sir. We're going to call those phone numbers. And, folks, don't call too much till I've had a chance to call, but it won't matter. The media is going to get a hold of this, and you'll see all these quotes in the news about we can't have veterans with guns. And, these are BATF investigations. I said first hour about this probably has to do with BATF at gun shows, and this will be their excuse to intimidate the VFW and turn them all into snitches. And that's now what he was basically saying. Let's go to more callers. Let's talk to Rob in Texas, and then James, Bill, John, and others. Go ahead, Rob.
Hey, Alex, how you doing?
Good. What do you think's going on here?
Well, I'm not quite sure. I'm a quartermaster at one of the VFWs here in Texas. And I got this email. I posted on one of our forums back on April 22nd. And one of the things I'm kind of wondering about is there's a requirement for the VFWs to report all their ceremonial rifles every 3 years to TACOM. And what raises a question in my mind is why all of a sudden they need to inventory everything. Because all these cannons and artillery and everything that the VFW owns, except for the ceremonial rifles, are all demilled. They're non-functional.
That's right. For those that don't know, when you drive in front of a VFW in a little town, you see an Army tank and a helicopter. If it even has the Gatling gun on the Cobra, or if it even has the main gun, the howitzer on the tank, it's been filled. It's had hot metal poured down into it. It's been spiked. But the issue is, again, you are the terrorist. This is a way to introduce you to the BATF, introduce you to secret police, where you're intimidated, and you're going to feel good when the BATF and FBI and Homeland Security spy says, oh, it's all right. You're not in trouble. We want you to work for us. And you're thinking about a rifle that came up missing 10 years ago, and you're going, all right, what do you need to know? We just want you to fight Al-Qaeda. By the way, and watch your neighbors. No, I'm serious. That's how this goes.
Well, I know. And, I have some concerns with the VFW, especially with the DHS report, calling all of us veterans terrorists. The VFW I saw the memo from the national commander, and they were basically supporting the government's decision to do this.
I remember that. I remember when the VFW came out on TV and said, I know it seems strange to say the veterans are the number one threat, not even Al-Qaeda. And gun owners are number two, and then Al-Qaeda. Evil vets, evil gun owners, Al-Qaeda. And that was on national news going, but veterans are bad. They're dangerous. So,
right, and I don't appreciate that. And the American Legion...
Is that because you're with Al-Qaeda, sir? We may have to take you in. We may have to take you in for a little bit of waterboarding to make sure. By the way, they're now waterboarding marijuana suspects. I have the mainstream news article. And if you're against waterboarding, maybe you're with Al-Qaeda. I mean, do you see how this whole thing works now?
Oh, yeah. The whole problem is the American public in general is in denial of what's going on. They think that, oh, everything's going to be okay. We're going to turn around and vote Republican or do something to where our government isn't going to walk all over us. I don't see that happening.